Morning.
Morning. I would like to call to order the December 10th, 2025 meeting of the Committee on Finance, Audit, and Budget. Georgette, would you please call the roll?
Yes, sir. Director Bernard Jakes,
Here.
Chairman Lester Barclay,
Here.
Director Rosa Ortiz,
Here.
Director Nima Jha.
Here.
Director Jakes, you do have a quorum.
It was brought to our attention in preparation for today's meeting that Director Auditor Raquejo would be unable to attend in person due to a travel obligation in
Jakes?
connection here with the
Chairman
family
Lester
emergency. Also, Director Michael Eady will be unable to attend in person due to a travel obligation in connection with a work commitment. Now, I have a motion that both Director Raquejo and Director Eady be permitted to participate in this meeting remotely.
So move. Second.
It's been moved by Director Jha, seconded by Director Ortiz, that Director Roberto Raquejo and Director Michael Eady be permitted to participate in the meeting remotely. We'll take a roll call vote. Director Jha?
Yes.
Director Ortiz?
Yes.
Chairman Barclay?
Yes.
Director Jakes?
Yes.
Motion passes. Good morning, Director Raquejo and Director Eady.
Good
Can you hear
morning.
us?
Yes, good
Yes.
morning. Good
Okay.
morning.
Good morning.
Our next order of business is the approval of the committee minutes of November 12th, 2025. May I have a motion to approve?
Second.
It's been moved by Director Jha, seconded by Director Ortiz, that the minutes from November 12th, 2025 be approved. We'll take a roll call vote. Director Jha? Director Ortiz?
Yes.
Chairman Barclay?
Yes.
Director Jakes?
Yes.
Director Raquejo?
Yes.
Director Eady?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Our next order of business is the finance report. Tom McComb.
Morning, Chairman, Directors. I'm McCone, Chief Financial Officer. I'm here to walk you through the October results. Just share the screen here. Okay, we're going to go through October results and year-to-date results through October. We'll start with system-generated revenues. Here you can see the month of October, similar trend that we've seen in prior months, fare and passes coming in slightly below the budgeted level, primarily due to lower pay per use on the bus side of things in particular. That's offset by the additional non-fare box revenue that we're seeing from the additional investment income. So total revenue for the month just slightly under budget by about $200,000. Year to date, we see those trends kind of rolling forward here. So fare and passes under what we had projected in the budget, but above where we were last year, more than offset by the additional non-fare box revenue that we're seeing. So total year to date, $12.5 million ahead of budget and about $25 million more than where we were last year for system generated revenue. The expenses side of things, we are now trending towards our forecasted levels for where we're going to finish the year. As noted in our budget book, we are going to be slightly negative to labor, coming in expenses slightly above that level. So we're seeing that result here in the month of October. I'd anticipate slight negative variances here in November and December as we trend toward that forecasted level in the budget book. The material side, some one-time expenses here in October. I do expect that to go away in November and December as we're doing some additional winter preparation in the month of October. Fuel and power continue their positive to budget trend. Fuel is assisted by better pricing and power by both pricing and an additional credit that we're receiving from some payments from last year. On the security services slide, slightly negative to budget. That's primarily due to timing. We have some positive variance on that one, so we'll see some negative monthly variances there. Other expenses, lower contractual expenses, slightly better credit for some debt service in there, leading to positive variance this month. And year to date, similar trends across each of those categories. Total $78.1 million positive to budget on the expenses side year to date. Public funding continues to be robust here. You can see 11.7 million favorable to our budgeted level of 94.3 million. Both sales tax and the real estate transfer tax coming in positive to budget, better than 10% ahead of their budgeted levels. Again, that was projected in the budget, so this is continuing that projection, which is good to see those strong results. Year to date, then, we see 98.4 million favorable to budget across our most recent months of public funding collections for both the sales tax and the real estate transfer tax. Again, this is consistent with what we were forecasting and projecting for the year, allowing us to preserve some additional reserve funding for next year. On the commodity side of things, we've locked in our power purchases for next year, giving us that fixed price, slight savings to the budgeted level. So that's good to have locked in place on the power side of things. We'll look to make potentially some more purchases on the fuel side of things now that we've got some certainty around service levels. Looking forward, we'll look to lock in prices as we see some advantageous pricing on the fuel side. And that concludes my report. Happy to answer any questions.
I have no questions, Tom. Thank you.
Director Ja, any questions?
Yeah, I know we didn't talk about this, but a quick question about supply chain constraints for 2026. That's something that I think all of us I think there's going to be more, especially around compute, in technology, getting computers, even storage. Have you guys done any sort of strategy around what we can put in place with vendors, suppliers for next year so there's no disruption?
Yeah, I think that there's a couple of things. So one is the vast majority of our material purchases is vehicle parts. And so we do tend to have a pretty robust supply chain for the vehicle parts. Our third-party provider, Napa, is a global supplier, and so they have access to multiple supply chains. So we're not beholden to one particular vendor, so that we can work with them to look for multiple vendors to supply the parts that we need. It's something that we're looking at very closely, not only just supply of materials, which I know a few years ago at the onset of the pandemic was a bit of a challenge, but also the impact of pricing, right? And how do we make sure that we're mitigating the impact of some of those pricing increases? So we're watching it closely. I think our third-party partners are helpful in that respect, but certainly it's something we're keeping our eye on.
Okay, and then besides Napa, which I think is more on the physical side, what about on the software side of the house or tech?
Yeah, I need to bring in technology to help with some of the strategy on what they're looking at from the software side of things. So I'm happy to get back to you with some with technology.
More questions, thanks.
Director Ortiz?
Thank you. Love to see more of the information that you just said. Thank you.
Chairman Barclay?
No questions. Thank you.
Director Requejo?
No question, thanks.
Director Eady?
No questions.
Director Jakes, there are no further questions. We may now proceed to agenda item number 4.
Thank you. Agenda item 4 is the review of an ordinance authorizing a licensing agreement with PharmaBox LLC to install, operate, and maintain automated retail vending machines at designated rail stations. Tom.
Morning. Today, I present for your consideration an ordinance authorizing a license agreement with PharmaBox LLC. PharmaBox operates vending machines across the United States and has proposed 3 concepts for CTA property. The first is CVS branded PharmaBox machines selling over-the-counter pharmacy products, Fanstand selling collectible trading cards, and Lucky Box machines selling mystery boxes of collectible items. There will initially be 5 CVS PharmaBox machines, 1 each of Fanstand and Lucky Box on CTA property. CTA and PharmaBox may mutually agree to add additional locations in the future. PharmaBox responded to an open RFP for specialty vending through Jones Lang LaSalle, and their proposal was deemed beneficial to CTA. This contract would add to our existing specialty vending program, which already includes Fuse portable cell phone battery chargers, Farmer's Fridge, and Amazon package delivery lockers. The contract is for 3 years with 2 one-year options. PharmaBox will pay CTA 12% of all sales at CVS PharmaBox and Fanstand machines and 8% of sales at Lucky Box machines, and a flat monthly fee for each machine escalating annually to offset the cost of electricity. The contract will generate non-fare box revenue for CTA, as well as provide an amenity for CTA customers with specialty vending machines similar to those found in airports, hotels, and shopping centers. That concludes my remarks. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Tom, who holds the responsibility if there's vandalism on the machines?
They do.
Thank you.
Director Ja?
Yeah, I guess just to confirm, we had some concerns with this when it was first presented. Can you talk about what adjustments? Because I don't remember
Yeah.
about that.
Happy to. So we looked at some of the locations, and obviously when we choose a location, it has to be physically suitable for vending machines. And one thing we looked at is, and we're excited about, are the CVS branded vending machines selling over-the-counter pharmacy products, hygiene products, and other things. And we wanted to, first of all, make sure that we selected some locations that were going to be successful. And then second, hopefully that open up opportunities to have more of those machines, since it is sort of a community necessity. And so what we looked at is putting one of those at 95th Station, which wasn't in the original proposal. We talked to the vendor earlier this month and they were more than open to that. And so they did put the CVS vending machine now at 95th Station, and they've moved the Lucky Box concept to a downtown location. That'll be at the Grand on the Red Line, which has kind of a different profile of the ridership there. So they were receptive and responsive to some of the concerns that we expressed earlier. We're hopeful that we can expand these concepts, especially the CVS branded machines.
Thank you, Tom.
Director Ortiz?
I really appreciate the change and the thoughtfulness around where do we put products and how these products can be most helpful for the communities that are in those stations. Thank you.
Chairman Barclay?
I just echo the comments. Thank you.
Director Requejo?
Just wanted to appreciate Tom and the team for raising those concerns. Particularly, we have an opportunity here to repair some of the harm that pharmacies have inflicted in some of our communities by departing altogether. And I know these machines are not covered the full extent of services that those pharmacies were providing, but the fact that we're looking now through a lens of how can we locate these machines in those communities that have been deprived from those basic services. That'd be great. I'm hoping that in the future, rather than this being presented as a concern, is proactively, socialize with our vendors and contractors, so they know when they come to CTA that they need to look through that lens of, equity and inequity. And also I wanted to make a point too that one of the additional concerns that we raised was around the pricing not being far from the regular pricing. And my understanding, Tom, correct me if I'm wrong, is that the pricing of these services, especially these products, especially those pharmaceutical products, would be similar to those found in a regular store, correct?
Right, that's correct. They're consistent with what you'd find at their online location or at one of their retail stores.
Okay, thanks.
Director Eady?
No questions.
Director Jakes?
I now have leave to place this item on the omnibus for board approval.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved by Director Ja, seconded by Director Ortiz, that this item be placed on the omnibus for board approval. We'll take a roll call vote. Director Ja?
Yes.
Director Ortiz?
Yes.
Chairman Barclay?
Yes.
Director Jakes?
Yes.
Director Eady?
Yes.
Director Requejo?
Yes.
Motion passes. Director Jakes, we may now proceed to agenda item number 5.
Agenda item 5 is the review of an ordinance authorizing a third amendment to a concession lease agreement for basement space and adjacent property located at 4620 North Broadway, Chicago on the Red Line. Bill Mooney and Stenoffish.
Good morning. I am Bill Mooney, your Chief Infrastructure Officer. I am joined by
Dina Fish, Senior Manager of Business Development.
Today, we present for your consideration an ordinance authorizing a third amendment to the lease agreement with Chicago Cooperative, trade named Chicago Market, a co-op grocery store. Chicago Market leases the Gerber building adjacent to the Wilson Station. This amendment sets the new start date for the rent payments at store opening and includes 10 years of rent payments. It structures rent payments so that in years 1 through 5, Chicago Market will pay a 5% of earnings towards rent. If the amount is less than the rent, the difference will accrue until the end of year 5. In years 6 through 10, Chicago Market will pay monthly rent plus a portion of any accrued from years 1 through 5. Total value of the leased CTA is $3.26 million over 10 years and has not changed. In addition to years 6 through 10, if 5% of the earnings is higher than the rent due, Chicago Market will make a true-up payment the difference, allowing CTA to share in the success of the business. Lease also adds 1,871 square feet of additional space to the lease. Chicago Market will utilize the exterior space to install a generator, bike racks, and bike repair station, and their own delivery lockers. Chicago Market will take over responsibility for the maintenance of these areas from CTA. The Gerber Building interior is unfinished and requires a significant build out before any business could operate in the space. Chicago Market has recently secured additional funding from the City of Chicago and bank loans that will enable it to complete their planned improvements to this space, valued at over $800 million, which CTA will retain the benefits of. Chicago Market is up to date on all of its rent payments, and they have broad support from the community. We are happy to take any questions on this item.
No, I haven't. Since you answered them all yesterday, thank you.
Director Ja,
No questions, thanks.
Director Ortiz,
No questions, thank you.
Chairman Barclay,
No questions.
Director Eady.
Well, I don't have a question. I just commended them even on yesterday in terms of the transaction that is being made and how this is going to add to the properties controlled by CTA for future revenue generation. So that's my statement. I just want to commend them for the work they're doing.
Director Requejo.
No question, just an ask to the team for in the future, come back to offer us and the public some update on how are you connecting the dots between all these locations where we own the real estate and we have small businesses or cooperatives or other types of retail available. How are we thinking about it under the umbrella of our ETOD agenda as one of those elements? I appreciate the work here, and going one by one for now makes sense, but I would love to step back for a second, look throughout the system. How are the other locations working? How can we support these small businesses? And again, how do we connect them to our future Office of ETOD?
Understood, sir.
Thanks.
Director Jakes, there are no further questions or comments.
I now have leave the places on the omnibus for board approval.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved by Director Ja, seconded by Director Ortiz, that this item be placed on the omnibus for board approval. We'll take a roll call vote. Director Ja,
Yes.
Director Ortiz,
Yes.
Chairman Barclay,
Yes.
Director Jakes,
Yes.
Director Eady,
Yes.
Director Requejo.
Yes.
The motion passes. Director Jakes, you may now proceed to agenda item number 6.
Agenda item 6 is the review of an ordinance declaring surplus and authorizing the sale of real property located at 300-304 East Garfield Boulevard in Chicago to the Skitopia Foundation. Bill.
Again, real estate staff recommends approval of an ordinance authorizing the declaring a surplus and sale of real property located at 300-304 East Garfield Boulevard. The Skitopia Foundation will use the site to develop a new science center. Skitopia and CTA have agreed upon a sales price of $220,000 for a 22,325 square foot site. Included in the purchase and sale agreement are protections that allow the authority to reclaim the site if Skitopia does not fulfill its commitments for the development or chooses to sell the site. I'm happy to take any questions on this item.
I have questions, Bill.
Director Ja,
Questions, thanks.
Director Ortiz,
No questions, thank you.
Chairman Barclay,
No question.
Director Eady,
No questions.
Director Requejo.
No question, same comment as with the prior one. It would be great to see this site also included in our full ETOD map and agenda in the future.
Jakes, there are no further questions.
May I now have leave the places on the omnibus for board approval?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved by Director Ja, seconded by Director Ortiz, that this item be placed on the omnibus for board approval. We'll take a roll call vote. Director Ja,
Yes.
Director Ortiz,
Yes.
Chairman Barclay,
Yes.
Director Jakes,
Yes.
Director Eady,
Yes.
Director Requejo.
Yes.
Motion passes. Director Jakes, you may now proceed to agenda item number 7.
Agenda item 7 is the review of an ordinance authorizing an intergovernmental agreement with the City of Chicago for the transfer of real property. Bill.
Real estate staff recommends approval of an ordinance authorizing an intergovernmental agreement with the City of Chicago for an exchange of real property. CTA's property at 3925 West Cermak Road is a former bus garage site and is no longer required for operations. City of Chicago has identified the site as an ideal location for a new community center. In consideration for the transfer of this property, to the City of Chicago, CTA will receive the following properties, which will be used in support of maintenance operations and construction staging: 4612 to 26 West Van Buren Street, 3828 West Lake Street, 4218 West Taylor Street, 4220 West Taylor Street, 4224 West Taylor Street, 4226 West Taylor Street, 4228 West Taylor Street, 402 North Harding, 409 North Harding, 12 North Harding, 414 North Harding, 416 North Harding, 418 North Harding. I'll be happy to take any questions on this item.
No questions.
Director Ja, any questions?
No questions.
Director Ortiz?
No questions. Thank you.
Chairman Barclay? Director Rakeo?
No questions.
Dr. Edie?
No questions.
Director Jakes, there are no further questions.
May I now have leave to place this on the omnibus for board approval?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved by Director Ja, seconded by Director Ortiz, that this item be placed on the omnibus for board approval. We'll take a roll call vote. Director Ja?
Yes.
Director Ortiz?
Yes.
Chairman Barclay?
Yes.
Director Edie?
Yes.
Director Rakeo?
Yes.
Motion passes. Director Jakes, you may now proceed to agenda item number 8.
Agenda item 8 is the review of an ordinance authorizing an amendment to an intergovernmental agreement with the Chicago Park District for the acquisition of a park parcel and right of entry agreement, temporary construction staging for the Red Line Extension Project. Bill.
Red Line Extension staff recommends approval of an ordinance authorizing an amendment to an intergovernmental agreement with Chicago Park District in support of the Red Line Extension project. CTA entered into an IGA with Chicago Park District in October of 2023 for the transfer of Park District parcels to the CTA and for multiple parcels of equivalent square footage to the Park District. The CTA has identified an additional need for use of a portion of Wendell Smith Park for the installation of a portion of the Arley structure and a right of entry for construction access and ongoing maintenance needs. In consideration of these needs, the CTA will transfer an additional 0.071 acres of real estate to be used as park space to the Park District and fund a not to exceed value of $250,000 in reimbursements for park enhancements due to the construction impacts. All costs associated with the transaction are included within the existing project budget and have been planned for. I'll be happy to take any questions on this item.
Questions, Bill?
Director Ja?
No questions.
Director Ortiz?
No question.
Chairman Barclay?
No questions.
Director Rakeo?
No questions.
Director Edie?
No questions.
Director Jakes, there are no questions.
May I now have leave to place this on the omnibus for board approval?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved by Director Ja, seconded by Director Ortiz, that this item be placed on the omnibus for board approval. We'll take a roll call vote. Director Ja?
Yes.
Director Ortiz?
Yes.
Chairman Barclay? Director Jakes?
Yes.
Director Rakeo?
Yes.
Director Edie?
Yes.
Motion passes. Director Jakes, you may now proceed to agenda item number 9.
Agenda item 9 is the review of an ordinance authorizing the 5 license agreements for the use of parking spaces at 120 and 121 North Racine Avenue in Chicago. Bill.
Last one for me this morning. Staff recommends approval of an ordinance that would authorize license agreements with 5 different companies for the use of approximately 76 parking spaces located at 120 North Racine. Companies include Car Realty Advisors, Heat Valet Parking Services, Nuity LLC, Pathway to Adventure Council, Regal Business Machines. License agreements are for 1 year with 4 one-year options to extend and can be terminated upon 30 days notice. The licenses will pay a combined one-time total fee of $30,285.50 at startup and monthly payments thereafter, with a predicted total value of $139,500 annually. Happy to take any questions on this one.
No questions, Bill. Thank you.
Director Ja?
No questions.
Director Ortiz? Chairman Barclay?
No questions.
Director Edie?
No questions.
Director Rakeo?
No questions.
Director Jakes, there are no questions.
Now I have leave to place this on the omnibus for board approval.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved by Director Ja, seconded by Director Ortiz, that this item be placed on the omnibus for board approval. We'll take a roll call vote. Director Ja?
Yes.
Director Ortiz?
Yes.
Chairman Barclay?
Yes.
Director Jakes?
Yes.
Director Rakeo?
Yes.
Director Edie?
Yes.
Director Jakes, motion passes. You may now proceed to agenda item number 10.
Agenda item 10 is the review of an ordinance authorizing the purchase of underground storage tank insurance for policy year January 28th, 2026 through January 28th, 2027. Sisavon.
Good morning, Sisavon Baker from the Law Department. Yes, this is our annual insurance policy CTA currently has 45 underground storage tanks in multiple locations around the system, providing over 970,000 gallons of diesel fuel per month for CTA's bus fleet. The CTA's underground storage tanks were installed between 1992 and 2010, and they are regulated by the Office of the State Fire Marshal. The underground storage tanks are excluded from our primary property insurance, as they are for most property insurance programs. So we have secured this standalone policy since 2022. Our insurance broker, Alliant, reached out to 9 carriers. We received one insurance quote from our incumbent. That quote provided the same terms and conditions, but with a 4.9% premium increase, which is not unusual. Last year, it was a 5.7% increase. So we're recommending the purchase of the Ironshore Liberty Surplus for an amount not to exceed $36,000. Coverage limits are $1 million per underground storage tank incident, $2 million for the policy aggregate, and the coverage includes payments for third-party body liability, insurance, liability, property damage, and legal defense. Happy to answer any questions.
You said it went down to 4.9?
No, that it was increased by 4.9%. Yes.
Thank you.
We'll take questions from other members of the board. Director Ja,
Questions?
Director Ortiz,
No questions.
Chairman Barclay,
Yes.
Director Rakeo,
No questions.
Director Eady,
No questions.
Director Jakes, there are no questions.
May I now have leave the places on the omnibus for board approval?
So moved. Second.
It's been moved by Director Ja, seconded by Director Ortiz. We'll take a roll call vote. Director Ja,
Yes.
Director Ortiz,
Yes.
Chairman Barclay,
Yes.
Director Jakes,
Yes.
Director Eady. Director Eady,
It's on mute.
Director Eady, you're on mute.
I'm very sorry. Yes.
Director Rakeo,
Yes.
the motion passes. Director Jakes, you may now proceed to agenda item number 11.
Next order of business is the review of contract numbers B1 through B5, which are contract awards for infrastructure. I have no questions.
Director Ja, any questions?
No questions.
Director Ortiz,
No questions.
Chairman Barclay,
No questions.
Director Rakeo, any questions?
No, thanks.
Director Eady, any questions?
No questions.
Director Jakes, there are no questions. You may now proceed to contract number F1.
Next order of business is the review of contract number F1, which is a contract award for administration. No questions.
Director Ja, any questions?
No questions.
Director Ortiz, Chairman Barclay,
No questions.
Director Rakeo,
No questions.
Director Eady,
No questions.
Director Jakes, we may now proceed to contract number G1.
G1 is the review of a contract award for technology. I have no questions.
Director Ja,
No questions.
Director Ortiz,
None.
Chairman Barclay,
Questions.
Director Eady,
No questions.
Director Rakeo,
No questions.
Director Jakes, we may now proceed to contract numbers H1 through H2.
Review of contracts H1 through H2 are contract awards for safety and security. No questions.
Director Ja,
Yeah, I do have a question on this one. Can we get a little bit of briefing on the price increase and the information about consolidating this contract?
Are you asking about the Steiner contract?
Yes, the over $7 million in increase.
I did want to, so one of the things that we have is there have been BOMA increases. So the Building Operation and Operators Management Association has had 4 increases during the term of this contract. The prior increases, we took amendments to the board, change orders to the board, changing the dollar amount that they were paid, but we never added additional funding for that. So this funding is for all 4 BOMA increases during the term of this contract, not just this one. Additionally, some of the areas that they're patrolling are Skokie. That is a huge facility and they patrol all around it. West Shops is also a very large facility. We have 77th, that's also very large. And then we have the lower yards as well. And I am going to get you a full list of all the areas that they patrol.
And you're aware that the previous contract was awarded to Digby and they went out of business? Steiner took over their business.
It was not in the briefing, so that's why I wanted to
Yes.
let everybody know a little bit of history behind that. And we don't have all the data, which is fine. Just want to make sure that we're all aware that that's what's causing some of the price increase as well, right?
We had 2 contracts to perform this work, one with Digby and one with Steiner. Digby did go out of business, so Steiner has picked up their work. So Steiner is now doing the work that they were originally doing, as well as the work that Steiner is doing, or that Digby was doing.
I think so. Just getting the level of detail in terms of price that got consolidated would be good to know before the next meeting, as well as coverage by square footage in the area that we're supporting. Because I think the total amount is north of 23 million. So it'll be good to kind of understand the cost and benefit of the investment that we're making in security around this.
Right. We are working on getting you that information.
Great.
Get it to you hopefully by tomorrow, if not today.
No worries. Thanks.
Thank you.
No question. Chairman Barclay?
I would like to see the areas if you are.
We'll send it to everyone, the information.
Director Eady?
He's gone.
No questions, no question.
Director Raquel?
No questions.
Director Jakes, there are no further questions on the contracts.
Since there are no further questions on the contracts, may I have leave to place the 9 contracts on the omnibus?
Moved.
Second. It's been moved by Director Ja, seconded by Director Ortiz, that the 9 contracts will be placed on the omnibus. We'll take a roll call vote. Director Ja?
Yes.
Director Ortiz?
Yes.
Chairman Barclay?
Yes.
Director Jakes?
Yes.
Director Eady?
Yes,
Director Raquel?
Yes.
The motion passes.
Since there is no further business to come before the committee, may I have a motion to approve the omnibus and recommend the omnibus for board approval?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved by Director Ja, seconded by Director Ortiz, that the omnibus be referred to the board for board approval. We'll take a roll call vote. Director Ja?
Yes.
Director Ortiz?
Yes.
Chairman Barclay?
Yes.
Director Jakes?
Yes.
Director Eady?
yes,
Director Raquel?
Yes.
Motion passes.
And finally, may I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved by Director Ja, seconded by Director Ortiz, that the December 10th, 2025 meeting of the Finance, Audit, and Budget Committee for the CTA Board be adjourned. We'll take a roll call vote. Director Ja?
Yes.
Director Ortiz? Chairman Barclay?
Yes.
Director Jakes?
Yes.
Director Eady?
yes.
Director Raquel?
Yes.
The motion passes.
Meeting adjourned, not motion this time. You know, I was motioning adjourning the meeting.
Yeah.
The last 2. You ready to go, aren't you?
We're gonna go straight on. Good morning. I would like to call to order the meeting of the Chicago Transit Board for December 10th, 2025. Georgette, please call the roll.
Director Nima Ja?
Here.
Director Rosa Ortiz? Present. Chairman Lester Barclay?
Here.
Director Bernard Jakes?
Here.
Chairman Barclay, you have a quorum.
We were advised prior to this meeting that Director Raquel will be unable to attend in person due to a family emergency, that Director Eady will be unable to attend due to a travel commitment related to his employment. They're both available to participate remotely. May I have a motion to admit Director Raquel and Director Eady remotely?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved by Director Ja, seconded by Director Ortiz, that Director Raquel and Director Eady be permitted to participate in the board meeting remotely. We'll take a roll call vote. Director Ja? Director Ortiz? Chairman Barclay?
Yes.
Director Jakes?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Our next order of business is public comments. Georgette?
Chairman Barclay, we have 11 registered public comment speakers for today, and we have 3 written public comment speakers, 3 written comments that have been forwarded to the board.
Secretary,
Written comments.
Secretary Greenlee, the host has disabled my video.
May we enable Director B's video? Have we done something on our end?
That's what the
Or
message
can
is.
we help him enable his video? We're working on it, Director Eady.
Thank you. All right,
All right,
it's
we see
good.
you.
It's back. It's back.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sorry about that. So our first written public comment is from John Paul Jones, President of Sustainable Inglewood Initiatives. Our next written public comment has been submitted by Sahar Siegel. And our last written public comment has been written by Jobs to Move America, and the Chicago Federation of Labor. I will call now those who have submitted to speak. Mr. Roger Romanelli. Good morning, Mr. Romanelli.
Good morning.
Welcome to our board meeting.
Thank you.
3 minutes to speak, and your time starts now.
And would you give me a 30-second call, please?
Sure.
Thank you very much. I'm Roger Romanelli. I'm the Executive Director of Chicago's Fulton Market Association. Together with our association's members, CTA riders, and Chicago stakeholders, I again implore the CTA board to support new dedicated bus lanes on Grand Avenue from Wells Street to Ashland Avenue, a 2-mile stretch. Please ask Mayor Johnson to withdraw his opposition to these bus lanes. Please ask the mayor to support faster buses and better service for CTA riders. Across America, bus lanes are a key tool for faster buses. But in Chicago, we only have 13 miles of dedicated bus lanes, while New York and LA have over 100 miles. Miami, Seattle, and San Fran have 40, 35, and 27 miles. All of these smaller cities are beating out Chicago. Let's look at our Grand Avenue bus. It is a golden goose. It can only get more golden if we improve it. Bus serves 7,000 riders a day. Serves Navy Pier with 9 million annual visitors. It's one of CTA's top 6 growing bus routes in annual riders since last year. We have the space on Grand Avenue. And I honestly believe there's a plan on that. I believe CDOT in their effort to put curbside bike lanes didn't realize that Grand Avenue widens east of Ashland, but it does. And so if we put dedicated lanes on Grand from Ashland to Wells, we would retain and expand bus riders for decades to come. And the Grand Avenue bus, just like all of our efforts to put the Morgan Station in Fulton Market, that Grand Avenue bus would be a bold catalyst for future economic development. We were here in November, and we just simply asked CTA to state your official position on this matter. You know, there's going to be a massive bailout next year, and I love public trans. We're all ready to support CTA, but we really believe that you have an obligation to tell the people where you stand on the Grand Avenue issue. On October 31st, when the big bill was announced down in Springfield, CTA president wrote essentially that this was transformational funding for CTA, that CTA will expand its service, invest in new technologies, and implement new strategies to support our riders. That's why Grand Avenue is a golden opportunity to do this. And in exchange for all of these funds coming in, which are needed funds, let us go ahead and let us revitalize and strengthen the Grand Avenue bus. In closing, I want to say that we know that the ridership numbers are down.
30 seconds.
Thank you, ma'am. According to different media sources, our riders are down 30% on buses and even higher on rails. If we modernize our Grand Avenue bus, we will produce more riders. There are massive new economic developments coming on the street. Really, I just think it's a very straightforward decision. So respectfully, I hope that the CTA board will address this issue today and convey to CTA riders, are you going to support a better Grand Avenue bus, or are you going to support the mayor's plan to eliminate travel lanes and jam up the bus? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Our next public speaker is LaRon Marks. Our next public speaker is Derek Covington. Our next public speaker is Clotilde Fleming. Our next public speaker is Bob King Israel.
Yes.
Good morning. You have 3 minutes.
Great day, great day.
Now,
Okay. Thanks for letting me address this board. Been a while since I've been down here. See a lot of contracts been passed. I mean, I thought I heard some contracts being passed with no questions asked. No, I mean, I don't know what y'all said. Y'all don't have no questions, but I'm really here about the CTA red line extension. They did a little outreach before they gave out the contract, but my concern is with John Burns getting the demolition, and they did not do no community outreach. I reached out to the 21st Ward Alderman, they don't remember. And I reached out to John, Juan Pablo, his father had passed away, so it kind of slowed things down. I didn't want to keep harassing them or talking about it, but now I was supposed to meet with Don Burns, that was the 4th of July. It's way past December the 4th. So, according to the email that I got, Kiwi did not, no, John Burns or Kiwi did not host community outreach specifically for red RLE demolition. So if that's the case, how did John Burns sub out all the demolition contracts without doing any community outreach? So in my personal opinion, I don't think that was fair to small local community contractors interested in the opportunity on the CTA contracts. It's billions of dollars from them coming that way, if I'm mistaken, not millions, but billions. So I was just wondering, how can the community get involved? You know, about that being a kind of low income area, we need to be involved with jobs and contracts opportunity, if that make any sense to you guys. So I was just wondering, what's the next step to make sure that these billions just don't come through the South Side and they have these no bid contracts and just give it to their buddies and friends. So about all I can say. Is any questions on that or anything somebody can tell me?
Mr. Israel, thanks for coming to comment today. In the room here, Mr. Prieto is present, as well as Taquanda Hurst from the outreach team with regards to red line extension, and we'd love to have you talk with them further about what you've raised today.
Who's in the room?
Taquanda Hurst and Juan Pablo Prieto.
thank you, Mr. Israel. Our next public speaker is Calvin Fuquay Dahl. Our next public speaker is Nick Laveris. Our next public speaker is Dan Olas.
Morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Thanks for allowing me to come in. Are you ready?
Yes.
Fantastic. My name is Dan Olas, and I'm a Chicago homeowner on Grand Avenue since 1995. For 30 years, no city official has ever asked me for my input on the future of Grand Avenue. In fact, no city official has ever asked me for any type of meeting whatsoever. Next year, Mayor Johnson wants to suddenly come in and bulldoze my entire street and reconfigure Grand Avenue for traffic that will be negatively impacting the speed and reliability of the CTA Grand Avenue bus. Our Grand Avenue bus is a crucial lifeline for myself, for my tenants, and for my neighbors. This is the way we get to work, this is the way we shop, and this is the way we travel about the city. It's through the Grand Avenue bus line. In November, myself and others asked the CTA to stand up for our Grand Avenue bus service and to stand against Mayor Johnson's plan to eliminate 50% Grand Avenue traffic lanes, Ashland Avenue, that is currently being utilized by our Grand Avenue bus. Instead of the mayor's plan, we presented a revised vision for dedicated bus lanes on Grand Avenue from Ashland to Wells, which is going to enable 2 miles of faster, more reliable CTA service. Today, again, we are asking for our CTA board to support these bus lanes. We see this as really an urban planning no-brainer. The CTA is going to get hundreds of millions of dollars in higher sales tax and highway tollway fees from people across the state of Illinois next year. CTA leaders have an absolute obligation to improve our CTA service, starting with the Grand Avenue bus. Today, we seek an answer from our CTA board and from our CTA president, Nora Learsen. Do you support the mayor's plan to cripple our Grand Avenue bus by eliminating 50% of travel lanes used by our buses? Or do you stand with the people of Chicago and CTA riders who need and depend on fast, reliable bus transportation? If CTA leaders don't stand up for better buses on Grand, if you don't tell the mayor to change his bad planning and boost our bus service, then the CTA is not standing with its riders. The CTA does not deserve the statewide financial bailout next year. I understand that many CTA board members were appointed by the mayor, but it's your duty to the CTA riders. It's not political loyalty to the mayor. If the CTA leaders refuse to stand up for Grand Avenue bus riders, then the CTA is really nothing more than a political action group for the mayor and not a public transit agency. Today, myself and others, on behalf of the 7,000 daily Grand Avenue bus riders, we ask that the board members state their official positions on the future of the Grand Avenue bus service. Thank you.
Yeah.
Our next public speaker is Mickey Aldwin Riviera. Our next public speaker is Ross Floyd Sr. Our next public speaker is Marshall Erb.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Mr. Erb, you have 3 minutes.
Thank you.
Time starts now.
I'm speaking today as a Grand Avenue business and property owner for the past 10 years. And I want to express my deep concern regarding the proposed changes to Grand Avenue between Ashland and Wells. This corridor holds immense economic development potential for Chicago, comparable to the success that we have all seen in the Fulton Market area, where robust CTA service has been a cornerstone of that revitalization and global investment. Grand Avenue has the same opportunity to attract billions in investment, but only if we maintain and improve CTA bus service. The mayor's current plan to eliminate the 2 longstanding travel lanes for CTA buses and vehicles in favor of additional bike lanes is alarming. This decision would create severe traffic congestion, slow down hundreds of buses daily, and negatively impact the 7,000 riders who depend on this route. Meanwhile, Hubbard Street, just 1 block south, already provides the bike lanes, making this proposal completely unnecessary and counterproductive. Critically, there's been no CTA bus impact study demonstrating the consequences of this plan. Without such analysis, moving forward would be reckless and detrimental to public transit riders and the city's economic future. If implemented, this plan risks undermining Grand Avenue's potential and punishing thousands of daily commuters. Instead, I urge you, the CTA leadership, to champion dedicated bus lanes on Grand Avenue from Ashland to Wells. This improvement would speed up service, attract new housing and businesses, and position Grand Avenue as a hub for business and development. Supporting faster buses not only is a win for riders, but for Chicago's long-term economic vitality. I'm asking, what is the official position of the CTA board today on this topic? Do you support enhancing bus service on Grand Avenue, or will you allow a plan that increases congestion and delays? The people of Chicago need CTA leaders to stand with riders and progress, not politics. Thank you for your attention to this critical matter. I look forward to your leadership in preserving and improving Grand Avenue transit. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next public speaker is Nick Reinhard.
Morning. Morning.
Good morning. You have 3 minutes and your time starts now.
Morning, my name is Nick Reinhardt. I am a senior at Lincoln Park High School here in Chicago, and I plan to pursue a career in transportation engineering. I have 2 questions for the board today. Very short. I just hope that they will be answered during this meeting. So firstly, with regard to the recently approved $1.5 billion transit funding package, does the CTA view this funding as a permanent long-term structural fix or more of a multi-year patch? And how do they view the stability of the source of this revenue? And then my second question is, given that some of these new funding sources may be variable, what specific strategies is the CTA planning to pursue to avoid another funding crisis like this in the future? Those are my two questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Just with regards to that comment, and then I'll speak briefly to the others. I'd encourage you, Mr. Reinhardt, to connect with our Chief Financial Officer, Tom McCone, to address a few of your questions that you raised today about the funding. With regards to the speakers on the Grand Avenue bus route, absolutely appreciate your passion for busing. We share that at CTA. We will take this back as we continue to work with the Department of Transportation, and appreciate you coming today. I know we've been in contact with you. Our staff has provided some information as well, and we'll continue to be responsive to that.
Mr. Chairman, I've called all of the public speakers, but I believe some have just arrived.
I would prefer to allow them to speak if they're here.
I will recall some who were not here. LaRon Marks,
Yeah.
you can come forward. Good morning, Mr. Marks.
Good morning.
Which one is Mr. LaRon Marks?
May I? For me?
Are you Mr. LaRon Marks?
He's yielding me his time. I'm
We
there.
don't do that. Yeah, we don't do that.
Y'all don't yield time?
No, sir.
Okay.
So are you registered to speak?
Yes, ma'am.
What's your name?
I'm Derek Covington.
Okay. So who is going first? Mr. Covington?
Want to go first? How's everybody doing?
Covington. You have 3 minutes.
Yes, ma'am. I do the best I can. And we're not allowed to yield, so I'm going to put my focus on here. First, thank you, right, for allowing us to come in here. I'm going to start with, we have turned ourselves upright to thee, who has originated the heavens and the earth. And we are not of the polytheists, meaning we're not of the hypocrites, right? Our life and the perpetuation of life is for the true and living God. Get on the record. Now, let's start with CTA 5.7 billion coming through Roseland. We are the Joint Industries Board. We have emulated the Cook County Building Trades model where we're allowed to engage a union that is bona fide with the Department of Labor, as well as Black contractors that we have merged to impact our community as developers. We cannot work with the AFL-CIO in Wash because of their union affiliation. It's not that they're a bad company, it's they are signatory to people that we cannot commingle fringe benefit funds. So we need CTA to find a way to engage the community in the goals it set. Because apprenticeship, we can't get any unless we're working. We can't work unless we're with them. We can't be with them because it violates federal law. So the document that was put in the hundreds is minutia. We can't touch it. They're showing us now with 40 to 50 Europeans right off 112th and Corliss saying it's community impact. But it's no Black people, no people that look like the community in that building. Then see one side, Wash another side, which I have no problem with that. But I'm saying is, you guys have to allow us to work with you directly and make them the construction management agent, but the funding comes straight from you to us, that way it don't violate them. We need apprenticeship money, we need engagement, we need to be a part of the EDA, and we need you guys to take this serious because we demonstrate that so we can participate. So we hear now just a few of us saying, we're grown men, we can do it. You guys got to give us an opportunity. And you can't have them people blocking us because they don't do it deliberately, but it's a system. So we up against a system. So the system has to give room just for us to grow, right? 10% of that stuff would change my community. 10% of 5.7 billion would change Roseland, 95th Street to 130th, 94 up to Ashland, man, will impact 2%. That's our commitment. 2% of your goals we'll meet through hours, through compensation, because we can't change things without economics. So we don't cut the crap with all that. We got to change things because we're emotional. No, we need the economics, 5.7 billion, to touch our hands.
That's time.
That's time enough.
Thank you, Mr. Please.
Great job.
So LaRon Barnes?
They was on yield like that, I'm the spokesperson for a bunch of us, so if you all won't let them yield, I think I've given enough to where you all can speak to me after this.
Thank you, Mr. Covington. Yes, we have people in the room that we'd like to connect you with. Mentioned earlier, Juan Pablo Prieto and Taquanda Hurst would be the right first place to start, and we can continue to have this discussion on these important issues.
Mr. Chairman, I believe that concludes our public comments.
Thank you.
Yes.
Our next,
I'm sorry.
Well, respect, can I ask one question or a question's not allowed?
We don't do questions during public comments, but the president of CTA and the board members are aware of who you are and will reach out. Is there someone in particular that you would like to have reach out to you after this meeting?
I just hope we get a decision today about the future of Grand Avenue. Thank you very much.
our next item of business on the agenda is our Citizens Advisory Board.
Morning.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Could somebody activate the mic so we can hear?
When it's white, that's.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yes. Yes,
Okay,
thank you so
great.
much.
All right. I'll repeat that. I am Tanya Raby, the chairman of the Citizens Advisory Board, and I'm here to report on our activities from September through December of this year. I'm also here to highlight recommendations and or items that are a matter of concern for the Citizens Advisory Board. In September, we held our very first joint CAB and ADA board meetings so that we could get a 2026 budget overview. And we had that joint session. It was actually a really productive and a great way for us to come together. It was super refreshing. It allowed us to hear from one another and have a better understanding of what each board was interested in and concerned about. So we would like to see more opportunities for those boards to come together and possibly even connect with you all in other ways in the near future. We're also very ecstatic, as is everyone, I'm sure, that the budget has been resolved in favor of CTA. So that being said, we're also concerned about the implications of the Northern Illinois Transit Act and its implications for the future of the Voice of the Citizens Advisory Board. Just trying to understand what that looks like and how we will be moving forward once that is in place. In October 2025, we had a working session about safety, and we were presented with a report from CTA COO Veronica Alanis regarding the safety workshop that was hosted in August. And I had the opportunity to attend that workshop, which was really incredibly informative. And it was really great to see so many different groups and partners coming in to share their insights regarding safety. And so to see more of that type of activity would be really great. We concluded the meeting with a really insightful presentation from a young lady, a student who I believe is in 8th grade. Her name is Jenna Martza, and she shared with us a PowerPoint presentation that led to a very lively discussion about youth traveling on our system and how to help youth feel safer. There are, a variety of studies that show that, when there's more youth on the system, it makes everyone else feel safer. And so I think that there is some merit to what this young lady was saying. And then in December, we had another working session about ridership. And we had, we learned more about the frequent bus network. So we had a discussion and an update on that. So the staff from the planning and innovation team presented some updates, and we were able to give feedback about the routes and what we believe would be imperative to delivering better service throughout the system. So those are my updates. And we are also looking to determine our calendar for 2026 and just settle on those dates. But we're looking forward to moving into the new year with better connectivity and, you know, working more closely with you all on a lot of things. So thank you. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Thank you for the report.
Thank you, Ms. Ray.
You're welcome.
Mr. Chairman, if we could have a motion to amend the agenda, we have a report that should have been added to the agenda for today, but was not, which is a report from the ADA Advisory Committee. It was deferred to this month, and our office inadvertently left it off. So if we can have a motion to allow the ADA Advisory Report to be added to the agenda, Laura Saltzman is here and is ready to report.
Okay. Want to make a motion? So moved.
If we can have one board member move that we amend the agenda to include the ADA Advisory Committee report.
So moved.
I would like to make a motion to adjust the agenda to include this report.
So moved.
Second. Second.
Second.
It's been moved by Director Ortiz, seconded by Director Ja, that the agenda for today's meeting be amended to include the ADA Advisory Committee report. We'll take a roll call vote. Director Ja?
Yes.
Director Ortiz?
Yes.
Chairman Barclay?
Yes.
Director Jakes?
Yes.
Director Eady?
Yes.
Director Raquel?
Yes.
The motion passes. Laura Saltzman? Good morning.
Don't worry, I cut a bunch of this because. Hello, I'm Laura Saltzman. I'm chair of the ADA Advisory Committee and a senior policy analyst for Access Living. I'll be providing a summary of the ADA committee meeting held on October 6th, 2025. First, however, as Chair Raby mentioned, first there was a joint committee meeting with the CAB on September 22nd, and I would like to echo her comments on how helpful it was and how helpful it was to have both committees like in attendance at the same time to learn for each other. I really appreciate the CTA scheduling that as well as, to discuss the budget. And I'm also very grateful that that ended up being unnecessary in terms of, ended up being not necessary in terms of the budget actually passing. I really appreciate CTA scheduling that as well as the transit budget town halls. It is very important to have direct communication about the possible consequences and hear from riders about their concerns. Going to the community so that people do not have to travel, and having in the evening allowed for people to participate in the conversation who typically couldn't. And as someone who attended them, it was great to see the number and breadth of staff available. There were a lot of riders able to get questions answered by the experts in a way they typically can't. I'm sure it was a heavy lift, but it was one worth doing. And taking my committee chair hat off for a moment, as someone whose day job involved advocating down in Springfield for funding, I just really want to note that I just really want to say that the work that the CTA has done over the last several months helped with the advocacy in getting the funding over the finish line. And whether it was these town halls, pushing through 3 different budgets, the canvassing that operators did, or the work that was guided by this board, I think it all mattered in getting it through. So thank you for that. Back to my regularly scheduled comments. During the meeting, the committee received presentations from Molly Poppy, Chief of Planning and Innovation Officer, along with Jack Hogan, Emily Drexler from Planning and Innovation. They presented findings from recent focus groups with riders with disabilities and results from the spring 2025 biannual customer survey. The focus groups had 4 top themes: the need for clearer, more readily available information, including signage and audio announcements, challenges with physical environment at steps and stations, particularly with elevators, steep escalators at locations like Clinton Blue Line Station, and inadequate lining, inadequate lighting, issues with other riders creating obstacles through crowding, stroller placement, and blocking priority seating, and the need for improved operator training on disability awareness and assistance protocols. Relevant to the fourth item, the committee received an extensive presentation from Kim Robinson, Vice President of Training and Workforce Development, on ADA training for bus operators and customer assistance at rail stations. It was helpful to the committee to gain a better understanding on this topic. Bus operators clearly must learn and are required to retain a significant amount of information. The training is 36 days long and includes classroom training where Irma presents an introduction to ADA, covering types of disabilities, disability etiquette, service animals, priority seating, and accessible features. The committee raised questions about the consistency of implementing these protocols in practice, particularly regarding exit requests, and asked about refresher training frequency beyond the initial 36-day program. There is a lot, and new stops equipment can require new procedures. So it is good that there is consideration on when to do these refreshers and how often. Committee also requested that there be a better way to track complaints and when these refreshers are needed, particularly when repeated complaints are made, so as to better address if there is a root cause to a more systemic issue that must be addressed. That could be for structural reasons like an odd stop design creating problems, bus overcrowding, or just something being missed in communications on those routes. Data should be kept in a way that these patterns can be noticed and tracked for program evaluation, so that if there is a breakdown somewhere, that can be caught. There are times where repeated issues are not being fully resolved, so it would be great to have a better way to handle the situation. The committee also learned that there has been an internal customers with disabilities working group with staff from across multiple departments, as well as a participant from CDOT. This working group is currently conducting fact-finding sessions and aims to identify approximately 3 projects to improve the rider experience for people with disabilities. And it is following a similar model to the successful language access working group. The committee appreciates that CDOT and CTA are working together on this project and look forward to the output. Kara Bather, Vice President of Strategy and Innovation, presented the recap of the Transit Community Safety Workshop, which Chair Raby has also discussed. And I've given a public comment support on something like the Save Right Best program on behalf of the Transportation Equity almost 4 years ago. It is good to see us get closer to service delivery on the project, and I once again want to thank the support funding efforts on this topic. We also received a report out from the wayfinding subcommittee and the work the CTA is doing on that front. It has been a helpful space for them to provide feedback. And I want to say, if there's anyone listening who happens to be disabled and interested in CTA wayfinding, please consider joining the subcommittee. It is not limited to CTA ADA committee members. And also, since this is a bigger venue for me to make this ask than the committee, if you're listening to this and have a disability and haven't gotten your reduced fare card, for some reason, please do so. It saves you money, but also the data collection helps with advocacy and better understanding the needs of disabled people. Every additional ride counted when talking to legislators for funding, so please make sure you're included. And with that, I appreciate the board's support and look forward to continued progress in addressing important accessibility priorities. I'm very grateful we can discuss improvements and not which cuts would be least painful for disabled people. And I want to express my sincere gratitude, not just to the board, the staff and employees who worked to prevent the cuts, but advocates as well, many of whom did it in their free time. It was necessary to preserve the other parts of the transit system for people with disabilities, but a lot of disabled people take CTA. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Secretary, before we continue on, I just want the record to reflect that Director Requejo, I think earlier was reported out that he was away to a family emergency. It's actually a work commitment, so I want the record to reflect that.
Thank you, Chairman Barclay.
Our next item of business on the agenda is our president's report, which will be given by our acting president, Nora Learson.
Thank you, Chairman and directors. Before I launch in, I just also want to thank Katanya Raby and Laura Saltzman for those reports, their contribution and collaboration on really important issues at CTA and bringing together people has been hugely impactful and a great resource for us. So I want to thank you for that ongoing contribution as well as the report here today, which was very comprehensive. I'm going to start with the holidays. It's the December meeting, and I think it's important to recognize that At our agency, we have our incredible contribution of our holiday train and bus that is underway and has been underway since Thanksgiving. This is the 34th year of the iconic CTA holiday train sponsored by Allstate. It started its first trip on the Orange Line the day after Thanksgiving and will visit all 8 lines before Christmas. The holiday CTA bus is also sponsored by Allstate and will visit 19 bus routes this season, which is an increase from last year. We want to get this out as much as possible. As a reminder, and I'll mirror Ms. Saltzman by making these announcements to anyone listening, riders should look to the holiday bus or that want to find the holiday bus or train should visit transitchicago.com and check out the schedule. You can also live track the actual train and come see it. I personally have been to it 3 times already with my daughter, and it's an incredible, exciting thing for the whole community to see. This is on top of extensive holiday giving throughout our agency. So I want to take just a moment to recognize that there are CTA employees across the agency who go above and beyond to give back to those in need every year, and this year is no exception. I want to acknowledge the giving spirit of the employees who work in our garages and terminals, at our maintenance shops, and at all CTA locations. They frequently host their own philanthropic efforts during the holidays, supporting one another and all of our communities every year. Just to name a few of those efforts this year, we have the Toy Drive held by the Chicago chapter of the Conference of Minority Transportation Officials, the CTA's Veterans Employee Resource Group and their support for the Marine Corps Reserve's Toys for Tot Drive, our Coat Drive, led by our Infrastructure Department, the Toy and Food Drive, coordinated through our Law Department, and perhaps our most popular and well-known holiday giving event, the Holiday Food Train, where 22 organizations will receive 18 food boxes each, delivered on December 18th and 19th. This food is delivered by CTA personnel on the holiday bus or the holiday truck with Santa and his or her elves. And I just want to thank our operations department, our infrastructure department, all of our departments come together to execute all of these initiatives. It's a real symbol of the heart and soul of our agency and a great time for our agency in this period. I also want to recognize the weather and the work that has gone on over the past few weeks. We've had winter come in hard and fast. It's been very pretty for many people, and I cued the snow for my holiday discussion behind me right now. But this has been a quick early start to winter for our agency over the Thanksgiving holiday weekend. We managed through an early big storm, and I want to thank everyone for those efforts and just recognize that that takes a ton of effort from across all of our departments here at CTA. Shifting gears, we are excited to announce today that we're launching 2 new opportunities to partner with CTA through our Innovation Studio program on important topics that have come directly out of our transit community safety workshop earlier this year. And that was recognized here in the discussion by Ms. Raby. But through our Innovation Studio, we are seeking partners that can help us pilot proactive specialist programs to engage with riders experiencing mental and behavioral health crisis and address the escalation of disruptive passenger situations. This is really a part of our broad scope of our security and customer service work at CTA, that a component of that should include non-law enforcement resources and bringing those resources forward onto CTA, but it needs to be thoughtful and informed and strategic. So this is a big step to kind of move that aspect of the broader strategy forward. And building upon contributions from our community partners at that workshop, from employees, from transit security experts across the country, these pilot programs will offer us an opportunity to bring new specialized skill sets, working alongside other CTA employees and partners to promote a safe and welcoming space on transit. Next, I want to acknowledge the work that has been underway over the past few weeks with regards to outreach on our bus priority corridor study. We know that a big part of 2025 was launching our bus frequent network that involved adding more service to 20 routes across the system. But key to making that effective is also working to improve our bus infrastructure across the city, which we've heard recognized here today. And a key step for us has been moving forward with the bus priority corridor study. It's launched in partnership with the Chicago Department of Transportation. With CDOT, we can make streets work better for buses so that buses work better for people. And that's a priority for us heading into 2026. and especially has been now really greenlit with the funding that has come from Springfield. We can really effectively focus on these types of investments. CDOT's been a great partner, and the bus priority corridor study gives us the opportunity to bring bus priority infrastructure to many more miles across 5 specific corridors that we've identified: Pulaski, Western, Cottage Grove, Fullerton, and 55th Garfield. CTA staff and CDOT staff are currently working together to engage riders and other stakeholders on what they want to see in these specific corridors. We've held several meetings. I had the pleasure of speaking to over 150 riders at the Monday evening virtual meeting on this topic. And for next steps, CTA also continues to look for online feedback from riders. So I want to remind people to please go to our website for that information collection tool if you were not able to attend one of the public meetings on this important topic. As I mentioned, the bus frequent network continues to expand. On December 21st, we're going to announce our final routes for 2025. Those are the final 4 routes of the number 9 Ashland, the number 12 Roosevelt, the number 72 North Avenue, the number 181 Lawrence. And we are excited to bring to closure the 20 routes of 2025 that are planned, which will mean that once those routes are implemented, 70% of the CTA service area will be within a half mile of a frequent bus route. This has been really impactful and really symbolic as we talked in Springfield about what investment in transit can bring. And we're excited to continue to move that forward and continue to move that into 2026. I mentioned investment brings ridership, and I want to just highlight a few key ridership highlights as we close out the year. CTA is on track to end the year with over 321 million rides, powered by our average weekday ridership that's exceeded 1 million rides on average since the spring per day. Improvement in CTA service frequency, our route extensions and improvements, and our new modernized stations have been key to driving that growth. We've talked a lot about the frequent network, where routes like the J14 and the number 60 Blue Island continue to maintain on average of 15% growth in ridership year over year. Key route improvements we've made, like the adjustments earlier this year on the number 53 Pulaski route, extending it to the Orange Line, have also created new ridership opportunities. The number 53, for example, is up 13% ridership since last year. And the new stations coming online are continuing to boost ridership. The Red Line stations from Wilson to Thorndale saw 17% ridership growth from August to October, and our Damon Green Line station on the Lake Branch grew 31% year over year during September and October. So when you build it, when you invest, the people come and ride CTA. In closing, I want to recognize that as we have reported to you and has been reported publicly, earlier this week, we received a special directive from the Federal Transportation Administration with regards to security. We are working on a response with our partners and plan to respond within the timeline laid out, and we will keep everyone updated on the contents of that response. And that concludes my remarks, Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Learson. Thank you for your report. Nora, I want to commend you and express appreciation to you and the entire team for your steady work throughout the year. This has been a year of transition and challenge. We have continued moving in the right direction because of the professionalism and commitment to serving our riders demonstrated by your team. One of the most consequential milestones this year was passage of the transit legislation that secured long-term funding for CTA and our transit region. That achievement not only stabilizes our future, but also affirms the value of the service we provide. We also advanced important service expansion efforts that will benefit our riders. And I want to acknowledge the substantial planning, coordination, and determination that made that possible. As I mentioned in briefings this week, I encourage the team to continue its efforts at increasing and sustaining our base ridership. We also made significant progress in our capital construction program this year with improvements throughout our system that not only enhance our service delivery, but enhances the rider experience. At the same time, this year brought real challenges for our agency, particularly on the public safety security front. These issues are complex and require sustained focus. There's a lot more work to do and frankly, room for growth. But I want to express my appreciation for the creative and thoughtful approaches the team has taken to address these concerns. Your efforts reflect a commitment to continuous improvement, and I look forward to updates on development in this area. Looking ahead to the year to come, we know that significant work lies ahead before us and before the region, particularly on the governance front. This transition will be consequential, and I still have my concerns. And while I still have my concerns, I look forward to working closely with our staff and stakeholders to ensure that the outcome strengthens our agency and ultimately benefits the public we serve. As I mentioned in briefings, an essential part of this effort is identifying what our agency needs operationally, financially, and in our governance structure to provide the best service possible. You mentioned the holiday train. I do want to acknowledge that this is, I took the holiday train today, the maiden voyage again this year, as I've done every year that I've sat on this board. Would encourage the public and members of this board to do the same. It is a fantastic opportunity to see how creative our staff is. And I want to commend them on the work that they do. I know many of them went beyond the call of duty, beyond regular work hours to do that. And so I want to express my appreciation to them. It is one of the delights of the agency that is an untold story. Thank you again for your leadership during this interim period, for your work throughout the year. At this point, I'll open it up to other board members.
Thank you. I echo everything you said. I don't think we need to repeat that, but I think I'm incredibly proud of how we taken change in a positive way, and especially the plan for 2026, where there's brilliant ideas and strategy that we're putting in place. I'm really excited about what's coming, and to see truly taking charge of the funding that we're getting and making a big difference in our communities. So thank you for that, and thank you for your leadership.
I want to second all of the comments that have been made. It really has been a resilient team to be able to walk through all of the transitions, all of the changes, all of the nuances that just come at CTA to all of us in so many different ways. So I just want to commend everyone who is part of this team for all the great work, continuous work, and continuous stepping up to leadership or stepping into leadership in so many different ways. Thank you to each of you for all the time, your commitment, your resilience, your dedication to make this work happen. And I think also to the city of Chicago, it's been an incredible year, an incredibly hard year in so many different ways. And I think unity has really sort of shined through our city. And, I think we're going to need that coming up to 2026. But I think in terms of CTA and the budget having been resolved, I think puts us in a really much different and much more powerful place than coming into this year. So congratulations to everyone. Thank you to everyone. And let's keep that collaboration and unity going. Thank you.
Thank you for your report. What I'd like to see or like to hear, more so for the public, because we know it already, is what are we doing to make sure that the public is safe? That is the ongoing, we have a lot of ways to celebrate, but that one thing is still a thorn in our flesh because all of us care about it. But I really would like to hear more starting next year so that the public will know. These are the things we're putting in place. And I know that you and your team are drafting the letter to send back to the Hill. But just from reading comments, the ethos of folks is that we're not doing anything, and that's not true. But we know that's not true. So that's what I would like to hear more about, not necessarily from you, from whomever. But thank you for your report. Thank you.
Director Eady?
Yes, I want to just certainly concur with all of what has been stated. And even on during the briefing, I stated to you, and I want it to be a matter of record, that we certainly commend you for the leadership that you're providing through this kind of troubling period. And especially in light of this most recent letter that has come concerning the assessment of the safety issues at CTA. And again, I concur with what Director Jakes has raised. Certainly, we all do have to account. We're always approached about matters that we're very aware of and clear about. We know that we have issues that need to be addressed, and I as well will look forward to hearing what is the plan, and because one does have to be put in place, and we know that that is the concern and the focus of this board, and certainly I believe of the administration. But I said on yesterday as well that I viewed it when I saw the letter that it was just another one of those kind of smear or kind of black eye kind of situations that wants to be placed on the city of Chicago. And so I was very happy to understand when I saw about certain funding that was to threaten to be withheld, that does not directly impact our budget. And so I was very happy to hear that. But again, we are aware of our problems. We know that they must be fixed, and we're anxiously awaiting to see what that plan will represent to address it. But other than that, we commend each and every one that has put their hands to the plow to address the issues, and there are many that are coming to the CTA, and we commend you all for the good work that you're doing.
Director Requeijo?
Yeah, I wanted to join my colleagues, and I want to start addressing the safety or the security related letter, and say that ever since I joined this board, I have seen that the safety of our riders and our workers has been a priority for the members of the board, but also for the leadership team and at CTA. And it's, as the chairman said, it's a very complex issue that affects all major transit agencies in the world, but especially in the United States. And it hurts me to say that I'm not happy with the security of our trains and our train stations yet, even if I can also acknowledge that there's been significant and measurable progress made in the past year. And as I think about all of this, I have to admit that it is very hard as a board member to sit here and to reconcile that the same federal government that is terrorizing, abusing, and kidnapping our community residents all across Chicago is the same federal government that shows concern about crime and violence in transit. So I'm still kind of trying to reconcile those two things. And as I do that, I choose to believe that the leadership and the staff at FTA are genuinely concerned. And rather than this exchange of letters back and forth, I would rather prefer that they meet in person with CTA leadership and other stakeholders on on an ongoing basis to develop collaborative solutions and share resources to stop all kinds of crime and violence in our system. I don't think this exchange of letters is the way to collaborate. I believe in true in-person and honest collaborative behaviors and sharing resources. And when I say that we should come together to stop all crime and all violence, I mean all violence, whether it's perpetrated by individuals, by organized group, or by immigration agents. So that's on the safety issue in the letter. But it's the holidays, it's the end of the year, and I do want to make sure that I commend not only you, Nora, and your leadership team, but all the employees of CTA on a year that was extremely hard for all of you, with a lot of uncertainty, a lot of potential crisis coming, and everybody held steady. Service was provided, service grew in quantity and in quality, and for an external person, for a visitor, they wouldn't have known that we were going through one of the hardest times in the history of the agency. So I want to make sure that I join my colleagues in commending you as our acting president, your leadership team, and especially our frontline workers. And finally, I did present this as a challenge to the team during the briefings, and I want to present this as a challenge on aspiration. As we put together our resolutions for 2026, I would love for the 1 million rides per day to be our baseline in 2026. I would like for us to be a 1 million riders minimum agency and grow from there. I want to ask you all, what would it take to get us there? And I want to, of course, offer myself in 2026 to help you reach that baseline and continue growing. And happy holidays for everyone.
Mr. Chairman, I think that concludes everyone's remarks.
Thank you. Our next order of business is the approval of the minutes of the regular board meeting of November 12th, 2025. May I have a motion to approve?
Second. It's been moved by Director Ja, seconded by Director Ortiz, that the minutes from the board meeting of November 12th, 2025 be approved. We'll take a roll call vote. Director Ja?
Yes.
Director Ortiz?
Yes.
Chairman Barclay?
Yes.
Director Jakes?
Yes.
Director Eady?
Yes.
Director Requejo?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Our next item on the agenda is executive session. Sisafan Baker, it's my understanding that today we do have an executive session.
Yes, Chairman Barclay, there will be an executive session today pursuant to Open Meetings Act 5 ILCS 120/2C1, 2, 11, and 1.
I will now entertain a motion that the board recess into executive session for reasons stated by council.
So moved.
It's been moved by Director Ja, seconded by Director Ortiz, that the board move into executive session. We'll take a roll call vote. Director Ja?
Yes.
Director Ortiz?
Yes.
Chairman Barclay?
Yes.
Director Jakes?
Yes.
Director Eady?
Yes.
Director Requejo?
Yes.
And Director Eady and Director Requejo, we would ask that you use the alternative Zoom information that was provided to you at this time. Thank you.
Will do.
I will now entertain a motion to return to open session.
So moved. Second.
It's been moved by Director Ortiz, seconded by Director Ja, that the board move back and reconvene back into open session. We'll take a roll call vote. Director Ja?
Yes.
Director Ortiz? Yes. Chairman Barclay?
Yes.
Director Jakes? Director Eady? Director Eady? Director Requejo?
Yes.
The motion does pass. Can we find Director Eady, please? We cannot, okay.
Item 6A, the board reviewed the closed session meeting minutes for September 8th, 2025 and November 12th, 2025.
May I please have a motion to approve the closed session minutes for September 8th, 2025?
So moved.
Second. It's been moved by Director Ja, seconded by Director Ortiz, that the minutes from September 8th, 2025 be approved. We'll take a roll call vote. Director Ja?
Yes.
Director Ortiz? Yes. Chairman Barclay?
Yes.
Director Jakes?
Yes.
Director Cahill?
Yes.
Director Eady?
Yes.
The motion passes.
May I please have a motion to approve the closed session minutes for November 12th, 2025?
So moved.
Second. It's been moved by Director Ja, seconded by Director Ortiz, that the minutes from the closed session of November 12th, 2025 be approved. We'll take a roll call vote. Director Ja?
Yes.
Director Ortiz? Yes. Chairman Barclay?
Yes.
Director Jakes?
Yes.
Director Requejo?
Yes.
Director Eady?
Yes.
The motion passes.
In item 6B, the board reviewed a proposed settlement of the lawsuit captioned Kayla Johnson Hollins individually and as independent administrator of the estate of Ernest Johnson versus Marbella Salas, the Chicago Transit Authority County Court Case number 2025 L002746.
Acting General Counsel, can you just state the amount that the board agreed to settle for?
The board agreed to the amount of $1.7 billion.
Need a motion?
Yes.
May I have a motion to approve the settlement of $1.7 million in the caption case Kayla Johnson Hollins individually and as independent administrator of the estate of Ernest Johnson versus Marbella Salas and Chicago Transit Authority in the Circuit Court of Cook County, case number 2025 L002746.
So moved.
Second. It's been moved by Director Ja, seconded by Director Ortiz, that the board accept the proposed settlement in the stated lawsuit. We'll take a roll call vote. Director Ja?
Yes.
Director Ortiz? Yes. Chairman Barclay?
Yes.
Director Jakes?
Yes.
Director Requejo?
Yes.
Director Eady?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Madam Secretary, if I can amend, the amount was 1.75 million. My apologies.
Nope, that's okay. We have to do a motion to reconsider the motion that we just passed. And we have a motion to reconsider the motion that we just passed to settle in the amount of $1.7 million.
So moved.
Second. It's been moved by Director Ja, seconded by Director Ortiz, that the board reconsider the motion that was just passed to approve the reference settlement, Kayla Johnson Hollins, and as independent administrator of the estate of Ernest Johnson versus Marbella Salas and the Chicago Transit Authority. We'll take a roll call vote. Director Ja?
Yes.
Director Ortiz?
Yes.
Chairman Barclay?
Yes.
Director Jakes?
Yes.
Cahill?
Yes.
Director Eady?
Yes.
May we have a new motion to accept the proposed settlement of $1.75 million in the lawsuit captioned Kayla Johnson Hollins individually and as independent administrator of the estate of Ernest Johnson versus Marbella Salas and the Chicago Transit Authority in the Circuit Court of Cook County, case number 2025 L2746.
So moved.
It's been moved by Director Ja, seconded by Director Ortiz, that the board accept the proposed settlement in the amount of $1.75 million. We'll take a roll call vote. Director Ja?
Yes.
Director Ortiz?
Yes.
Chairman Barclay?
Yes.
Director Jakes?
Yes.
Director Rekejo?
Yes.
Director Eady?
Yes.
The motion passes.
We will now address board agenda item number 7, board matters. Georgette, do we have any board matters today?
Mr. Chairman, there are 4 board matter items for consideration today. First is to approve an ordinance appointing Sisavon Baker as acting general counsel of the Chicago Transit Authority.
And please have a motion to approve the ordinance appointing the acting general counsel of the Chicago Transit Authority.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved by Director Ja, seconded by Director Ortiz, that Sisavon Baker be approved as the acting general counsel of the Chicago Transit Authority. We'll take a roll call vote. Director Ja?
Yes.
Director Ortiz?
Yes.
Chairman Barclay?
Yes.
Director Jakes?
Yes.
Director Eady?
Yes.
Director Rekejo?
Yes.
Motion passes. The second is to approve an ordinance fixing the salary of Reverend Bernard Jakes as a director and member of the Chicago Transit Board.
Please have a motion to approve an ordinance fixing the salary of Reverend Bernard Jakes as a member of the Chicago Transit Board.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved by Director Ja, seconded by Director Ortiz, that the ordinance fixing the salary of Reverend Bernard Jakes as a director of the Chicago Transit Board be approved. We'll take a roll call vote. Director Ja?
Yes.
Director Ortiz?
Yes.
Chairman Barclay?
Yes.
Director Jakes?
Abstain.
Director Eady?
Yes.
Director Rekejo?
Yes.
The motion passes. The third resolution is to approve changing the date of the November 2026 Chicago Transit Board regular meeting, November the 12th, from November 11th, which is the second Wednesday in November in 2026 is Veterans Day, which is a national holiday.
And please have a motion to approve a resolution changing the date of the November 2026 Chicago Transit Board regular meeting.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved by Director Ja, seconded by Director Ortiz, that the November 2026 Chicago Transit Board regular meeting be held on November 12th, Thursday, November 12th, 2026. We'll take a roll call vote. Director Ja?
Yes.
Director Ortiz?
Yes.
Chairman Barclay?
Yes.
Director Jakes?
Yes.
Director Eady?
Yes.
Director Rekejo?
Yes.
And Chairman Barclay, the fourth resolution is a resolution of appreciation to Michelle A. Lee. I'll read the resolution. A resolution of appreciation to Ms. Michelle A. Lee. Whereas Ms. Michelle Lee was appointed to the Chicago Transit Board in 2022 by Mayor Lori Lightfoot. And whereas Ms. Lee served with dedication and distinction as Vice Chair of the Finance Audit and Budget Committee and as a valued member of the Strategic Planning and Service Delivery Committee, offering sound judgment, policy guidance, and a strong commitment to the long-term sustainability of the Chicago Transit Authority. And whereas throughout her tenure on the board, Ms. Lee demonstrated an unwavering passion for accessibility and equity, championing initiatives that expand mobility, remove barriers for riders with disabilities, and ensure that all members of the public can benefit from safe, reliable, and inclusive public transportation. And whereas Ms. Lee is an avid transit supporter and frequent CTA rider, bringing firsthand experience to board deliberations and consistently offering feedback grounded in the lived realities of our riders, thereby strengthening decision-making and improving service delivery. And whereas Ms. Lee used her personal experiences and perspective as a rider and advocate to elevate the voices of individuals who depend on the system daily and ensuring those perspectives remain central to the CTA's work. And whereas Ms. Lee's leadership, advocacy, and dedicated service on the board were instrumental in the implementation and expansion of accessibility initiatives, such as the CTA's All-Station Accessibility Program, Better Streets for Buses Plan, the CTA Chatbot Pilot, and CTA Public Safety Pilot initiatives. And whereas during her tenure on the board, the CTA has completed the construction of 5 accessible rail stations and has made notable progress toward the construction of additional rail stations throughout the system. And whereas prior to her service on the board, Ms. Lee served as vice chair of CTA's ADA Advisory Committee, where she provided thoughtful insight and advocacy on behalf of riders and community members. And whereas the contributions of Ms. Michelle Lee have left a meaningful and lasting impact on the CTA's mission, its operations, and the communities it serves. Be it resolved that the members of the Chicago Transit Board express their sincere appreciation to Ms. Lee for her dedicated service and recognize her commitment to advancing accessible, equitable, and rider-centered public transportation for all. Be it further resolved that the officers and employees of the Chicago Transit Authority join in this expression of appreciation and extend their best wishes to Ms. Lee. Be it further resolved that this resolution be spread of record upon the minutes of this meeting and that a suitable copy be presented to Ms. Lee as an expression of our respect for her and gratitude for her service.
Thank you, Georgette. Director Lee is joining us here today, and Michelle, throughout your time on the board, you brought an unwavering commitment to accessibility and improving service for all of our riders. That commitment has been grounded in real everyday experiences of the people we serve, and has helped bring about meaningful improvements for CTA and our riders. From your time on the ADA Advisory Committee to your service on the board, you've approached the work with professionalism, curiosity, and dedication. I want to acknowledge the spirit you brought to this board and to CTA. Your positivity, your collaborative nature, and the way you supported staff. That support really mattered. It's helped shape a constructive environment for the board and contributed to stronger outcomes for the agency. Your presence made a significant difference, and it did not go unnoticed. We're better for having Michelle Lee having served on our board. On behalf of the board, I want to thank you for your service, your insight, and your steady advocacy. We wish you the very best in all that comes next. And we're deeply grateful for the impact you've had on the board and on the Chicago Transit Authority. Thank you very much, and congratulations, and look forward to staying in touch. At this point, I'll open it up for other board members.
I can go first as usual. Hey, Michelle. Oh, this one's tough. I think your leadership has been so grounded in purpose, empathy, and your commitment. Every time I've been in a briefing right next to you, I have learned a lot. You've shown me areas that I had no visibility into. You've consistently elevated the voices of those who are too often overlooked. And I think that's important. I think your advocacy for accessibility has reshaped how we think about equity and inclusion when every time we're going to sit in that briefing meeting. Thank you for your service, your integrity, your determination to build a more inclusive transit system, and more so for your friendship. We're deeply grateful, and I wish you every success in the next chapter. Congratulations, I think you deserve it. Can't wait to hear so much more adventures that you're going to go into. And watch out for the robots.
Yes, I will make my remarks brief. Michelle, we miss you already. And we couldn't be more grateful to you for your passion, your commitment, your dedication, and all the insight that you've shared with us, and just your wonderful friendship, personality, and optimism, which is exactly what you shared as well. So thank you for making CTA better. Thank you for your passion. Thank you for your commitment. And we can't wait for you to get back whenever that is, in whatever form or shape that is. But I want to personally give you a standing ovation. So I know you're far away, but thank you for all you have. Thank you. You guys. Thank you.
Okay. I tag on to what everyone has said. Michelle, I do have an issue.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I have an issue.
I know what you.
You're leaving me on this end of the table by myself.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, but see, your last meeting, you didn't even sit over here. You sat down there. I didn't know you were leaving. So because I am where you are, because I'm not going to make that public information. I'm there like 6-7 times a year. So we'll have this conversation. You will indeed be missed. When Kevin resigned, I really was concerned about. I don't do the who's going to step in somebody's shoes, because people need have their own shoes. But you indeed were a rock star that this board needed. So thank you for the time that you spent with us. And if it's the Lord's will, I'll see you where you are.
Sounds good.
Director Rekejo.
Michelle, it's a big loss. This is a big loss. It's a big loss because, Michelle, you're a very rare board member. It's a rarity to find the technical knowledge that you have, and then the lived experience that you have, and then the integrity, that you have. And every single time I've shared space with you in public or privately, you truly put always the needs of others first and our writers first. And it's a rarity that you bring such joy to every space that you show up in. This is not a work transportation infrastructure. I love you all. I love us all, but this is not a place usually of a lot of joy. And you brought that joy. And I want to acknowledge, Michelle, that you brought that joy in really challenging moments, not just professionally, but also personally for you. And you brought it, and you kept it, and you kept a positive and a joyful spirit, and brought us all up when you were yourself dealing with your own personal loss. And that was not unnoticed by many of us. And that's the type of rare person that you are. And this is why this is a big loss. I wish you the best. I wish you luck with those robots. And I hope you bring some lessons from where you are to teach us here how to handle them. But more importantly, I wish you what you always wished, CTA, the very, very best.
Thank you.
And Director Eady.
Yes, before I make my statement, my video has been disabled again, but I'm gonna speak to this very, very special individual. And I'm going to build it around the image of what I'm looking at on this screen. I see an empty chair. And that says to me, someone very significant is missing. And you, all of what has been said, you brought dynamic to this group that will be irreplaceable. There will be no match ever that will be able to bring value, the passion, the concern, the commitment that you have brought. Being the newbie of this group, you readily made me feel very welcome on the board. And I look forward to sitting next to you. And you were always warm-spirited, always very much engaged. They didn't know we were having our conversations on the side. And they were always good. They were always positive, and you were always bringing things up and making me aware from a perspective that you so well understood. So I want you to know, certainly you brought so much value to the CTA board, and where you are going in your next chapter, I am certain you will continue to contribute that same value. So thank you so very much for being Michelle.
Oh,
and Michelle and Michael, you know, there's a connection there. So we want you to know that. And you always made me feel connected to the CTA board. Well, pray great success on you in your next endeavor. God bless you.
Thank
Director Lee, before I turn it over to you, I want Nora to at least speak on behalf.
Thank you, Chairman. And Michelle, as everyone said, this is a major loss, but your legacy and impact at CTA will last forever. I know I speak for everybody in that every interaction with you, we became better as an agency. And, you know, everyone may not know, Michelle was in near constant contact with us and our staff about her experiences on a daily basis on CTA. So your impact hit every scale. You would give feedback about your ride, from those experiences to your interactions at our most major events, most recently with the announcement at the Racine station, at the Austin groundbreaking, the grace and cheer that you bring to the work also permeated our agency. And I personally found it to be a model of leadership that I follow, particularly as a woman leader in this area and in this industry. And that will also last with me personally for a long time. You're a true champion of CTA. You were at parades, major events, and that also will last for so long in terms of your impact. So I just want to thank you. I want to thank you for being here and your contribution. And I really hope we stay connected and that all of your feedback about transit continues to come our way so that we can continue to get better because of you. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
We'd like to hear from you, Michelle.
Chairman, yeah, thank you for the time. I'm a little bit speechless, y'all. Hopefully you can hear me okay, but I might break down. I don't want to cry, but I've written down a few remarks, so hopefully I can get through this, y'all. Okay, so first of all, thank you for allowing me this time, even though I'm not on the board anymore, so I appreciate the time. And apologies for not being in the room with you all. I'm actually here in my new hometown of Scottsdale, so it's out there. Ooh, okay, come visit, y'all. But Chicago has been my home for over 20 years, and I love Chicago, and a big part of the reason that I love the city is the CTA. The transit agency is second to none, and while I'm excited for this new chapter and this new adventure here in the desert, I'm also sad. I'm sad to be rolling off the board, and I really just wanted to share a few acknowledgments before my time is completely gone. I'll just have to show up at public comment next time, y'all. But firstly, I just wanted to thank the city of Chicago and all the riders of the CTA. I mean, truly, you all are the reason that the CTA exists and the board does what we do, and all the leaders. We just care about all the riders. We want to make sure that people can get where they want to go. And secondly, a thank you to the mayor for the trust placed in me in this position. And it's been a tremendous honor and a privilege to really serve such a vital agency. The CTA is the backbone of the city. So just a lot of gratitude there. And to the chairman and my fellow board members, thank you for such kind words. I look around and I see leaders who share such a powerful commitment to excellence. Together,
we focused on the non-negotiables, right? We focused on safety, accessibility, and equity. And I hope, even though I'm not there anymore, I hope that we can, y'all can continue to carry that forward, and I know you will. And just to make sure to deliver a transit system that is second to none. Literally, I wouldn't, I ride a lot of buses and trains in other places too, and I'm always like, oh, CTA does it better. So, and this is really what serving on the board together with you all has really made this work so meaningful. And it really has been a joy to get to know you and hopefully we're going to stay in touch and we'll be friends, but it's been a real joy. And I also wanted to acknowledge and recognize Acting President Legerson. Nora, your vision and collaborative approach have been such a highlight for my time here on the board. And I really thank you for your collaborative spirit and your approach and your energy and for your dedication to the agency. So I'm looking forward to what the future holds. And lastly, I would be really remiss to not express, profound thanks and gratitude to the dedicated CTA staff and leaders and everyone from leadership to frontline employees. I mean, you are really the heroes of the operation. I mean, you're responsible for keeping Chicago moving 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, no matter rain, snow, or whatever happens. And your tireless work is what truly makes the CTA such a world-class system. And so I really do feel fortunate to have gotten to know so many of you, and I'll keep the feedback coming when I ride again. And I feel like, honestly, the CTA is in such a good place. There is so much positive momentum, and I'm incredibly confident that you all and this board will continue to set the gold standard. And on a personal note, I'll really miss riding the buses and the trains, and special shout outs to the 66 bus operators who won't see me as often anymore. But I will be back. I mean, I love Chicago. I'll just maybe be back when it's a little warmer. So it's not goodbye, y'all. It's definitely see you soon. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Chairman, may we have a motion to adopt the resolution?
Please have a motion to approve resolution of appreciation to Michelle A. Lee.
So moved.
Second. It's been moved by Director Ja, seconded by Director Ortiz, that the board adopt the resolution of appreciation to Ms. Michelle A. Lee. We'll take a roll call vote. Director Ja? Director Ortiz? Yes. Director Jakes?
Yes.
Director Eady?
Yes.
Director Requejo?
Yes.
Chairman Barclay?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Our next order of business is a report from the Committee on Finance, Audit, and Budget. Director Jakes.
Mr. Chairman, the committee met earlier this morning and approved the November 12th, 2025 committee minutes and reviewed the finance report. The committee reviewed the following 7 ordinances. 1, the review of an ordinance authorizing a lease agreement with PharmaBox LLC to install, operate, and maintain automated retail vending machines at designated rail stations. 2, review of an ordinance authorizing a third amendment to a concession lease agreement for basement space and adjacent property located at 4620 North Broadway, Chicago. 3, review of an ordinance declaring surplus and authorizing the sale of real property located at 300-304 East Garfield Boulevard, Chicago, to the Setopia Foundation. 4, review of an ordinance authorizing an intergovernmental agreement with the City of Chicago for the transfer of real property. 5, review of an ordinance authorizing an amendment to an intergovernmental agreement with the Chicago Park District for the acquisition of a park parcel and right of entry agreement for temporary construction staging for the Red Line Extension project. 6, review of an ordinance authorizing 5 license agreements for the use of parking spaces at 120 and 121 North Racine Avenue in Chicago. 7, review of an ordinance authorizing the purchase of underground storage tank insurance for policy year January 28, 2026 through January 28, 2027. The committee also reviewed 9 contracts. The committee placed the 7 ordinances and 9 contracts on the omnibus. The committee approved and recommended for board approval 7 ordinances and 9 contracts. This concludes the report of the Finance, Audit, and Budget Committee.
I will now entertain a motion to approve the omnibus.
So moved. Second.
It's been moved by Director Ja, seconded by Director Ortiz, that the omnibus be approved. We'll take a roll call vote. Director Ja?
Yes.
Director Ortiz?
Yes.
Chairman Barclay?
Yes.
Director Jake?
Yes.
Director Eady?
Yes.
Director Rakeo?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Next order of business is the construction report from Bill Mooney, our Chief Infrastructure Officer, and Juan Pablo Prieto, our Director of Diversity Programs.
Good afternoon. Once again, I'm Bill Mooney, your Chief Infrastructure Officer, and I'm joined by
Juan Pablo Prieto, Director of Diversity Programs.
As we have done the last few months, we'll focus on a conversation around one project, particular in detail, but we are available to talk about any of them in the portfolio. And this month, we're bringing forward something a little more unique than what you typically see. This is a one-off maintenance project. It was significant in its caliber as in it impacted the loop, the heart of our system, for a weekend in a way that hadn't happened in better than a decade prior. And so in a weekend of October 25th through the 27th, we shut down downtown Chicago, our train service on the elevated structure, to be able to do some really critical key work in that area. President Learson wanted us to really take an opportunity to highlight this. This was all handled by our in-house workforce. So you see a lot about the Refresh and Renew program, which is our trade side that does maintenance of our facilities. These are the teams that maintain our track infrastructure, be it signal systems, the power distribution systems, the actual structure themselves, or the track. They are a ragtag group of dedicated people that work through elements like today. They're still out there working. They don't get to go inside to do their work because it's not nice. They tend to be sent out there when it actually is the opposite, right? When we say it's not good for anybody to go out there, that's when this team tends to go to business. They work very quietly in the background. We often don't hear about them unless they have a problem, right? And so I was more than excited to be able to highlight this opportunity. My background, I spent almost 15 years running this organization as part of this team prior to going to other roles in the company. And so this is where I come from. And these are my folks. I'm always glad to talk a little bit about the business they do. So we shut down the loop, which seems like whatever. Okay, we do that. No, we don't, right? We do that once in a blue moon, but it is critical. And we don't often see this purview of kind of these outages. But every time we do a single track, we do a line cut, we do any type of service disruption to our system, there is a big effort that goes forward. We often talk about the support operation gives us to do this work. But here's some photos of the operations folks. So at the start of all these outages, we have a planning meeting, right? This is a project briefing where we go over the rail service bulletin that details how the service is going to be managed around here. All the players' roles, all the players that are involved in that process are in the room, or in this case, in the station, having this conversation. We have personnel from the contracting side or the maintenance side there to talk about the work that's going to happen, who's the point person, and all the safety protocols we're using on it. And we have a separate bulletin that talks about all the power isolation we do and a lockout tag out around that. That kind of goes part of this. It could be as much as 45 minutes worth of a conversation. So a briefing like this and an outage like this is very detailed. And so we wanted to take a second, just highlight how much effort goes in around the outage, right? And we're going to talk a little bit about the work, but to make us not have trains in the loop is a huge effort, right? Not just from a rail operation standpoint, to find other places for those trains to go and be routed around, but also from the bus support. The amount of bus support that goes into outages like this it's not insignificant either. So why do we shut it down? So in the center of the northwest corner of the loop is a thing we call Tower 18. So this is the intersection of Lake and Wells, where we bring through the green, the pink, the orange, the brown, purple line when it comes downtown. So everything that goes through the loop goes through this cross section. And there is a piece of special track work in the middle of it called a casting. It is a formed magnesium piece that is set there that allows the trains to go across those four interlockings. But it's the dead center of that thing. And we put that first in 2010. And so after 15 years of having almost 1,000 train movements a day over these pieces, they were starting to see their wear and tear, and we were starting to see some cracking on them. And so we had ordered these. It took about a year to get the piece ordered. And so we replaced 2 of the 4 castings there under this weekend outage. And that was really the focus of this rodeo of activity we had going on downtown. So here you can see some of that work going on. So we brought in some railborne cranes here to help load. These things weigh thousands of pounds as individualized pieces. So here you can see the crew getting ready to pull this work on Friday night. You can see kind of the opening that casting fits in the middle, and you can see that piece being flown out by that rail-borne crane there. So here's kind of a center shot, so you can see where all those people are standing is right where that key piece of work was, and you can understand a little bit why we weren't running trains now, right? So this became very complicated to do and very challenging around it. And so this is probably a vital piece of our infrastructure that exists out there. And so we did half of it this year, and we've got the other half on order for next year to hopefully do a similar type of outage to be able to restore that and get us another 15 years worth of life. So we also took the opportunity, because you don't often get the loop completely shut down, to throw as many bodies as we could into the loop to do work. So this is some of the supporting crossovers that are outside Tower 18 that had additional wear and tear that was going on. The yellow piece of machinery in there is called a tie handler. We use it often to do rail repair and other things. It's kind of a smaller rail-borne crane. Here is some work at Adams and Wabash. So, again, we did some major roof repair here, which again is not very easy to do when you've got customers standing underneath it. You got trains trying to berth around it. So here you can see the scaffolding set up on the track. They changed a bunch of the roof panels. They replaced the gutters. Here they're actually pulled out a bunch of the stair treads to be able to rebuild the steel underneath the stair treads. So this is a collection of trades here. We had special visitors to the site that came out to learn about kind of the impact of the work and thank the crews. It was around the clock for us. We don't take a lost minute of time here. So here's Acting President Learson inspecting some of the key work here. The gentleman she's talking to is our Vice President of Infrastructure Maintenance, Lenny Romano, who kind of was the choreographer of this. I was pleasantly surprised, I'll be honest, that I'm a little bit of a nervous Nelly on all these and going into this conversation. Every time I go to ask a question, before I could get the question out of my mouth about are you ready to do this, they were already telling me the answers of the questions I wanted. So I just got to go around and shake hands and say hello to people that I don't get to see as much. So it was nice to feel that good about the work that they had thought through here. So
Bill, I'll just quickly note, I had an exchange with Bill Castigliola, your manager of truck and structure maintenance. They'll never forget up there. I saw him and he said, today was the most satisfying day I've ever had at CTA. This work, just to be up there to have it all shut down. So
yeah, he posted a similar commentary on LinkedIn that evening. That was, he's been with us probably 10 years now and started as coordinator. Our track department came from the freight railroad world. And so to have an outage of this complexity that, we're doing on ourselves is big, and it was exciting. We're really excited to do it. And here's kind of a lot of the key guys and girls that worked on the project in Tower 18. You can see those castings back in place, kind of with, this is a rail-borne derrick crane. We have a couple of them out there on a flatbed, so you can see just kind of a group level around that. So again, just a short kind of touch on a project we don't often get to bring forward. I'm glad to go through anything else that in the portfolio that you'd like an update on. You've got the package, so we can go over any of them. We can cover them. Otherwise, I'll turn it over to Juan Pablo.
Thanks, Bill. Good afternoon, directors. In November, we hosted and attended a number of events to inform small businesses and residents about contracting opportunities and jobs on CTA projects. So on November 5th, we hosted our Q4 workforce outreach event at Truman College, had 50 attendees who heard about our workforce goals, available resources, including our workforce partners and upcoming projects. On November 4th, we had the graduation for our professional services small business educational series. This cohort had 18 graduates, which is our largest for the professional services series yet. And so we look forward to seeing these firms bidding on upcoming CTA projects. And then finally, on November 10th, the Illinois Unified Certification Program, or ILUCP partners, which include IDOT, City of Chicago, CTA, Metro, and PACE. We hosted our second town hall related to the DB interim final rule, or IFR, that USDOT issued on October 3rd. Over 400 attendees, both in person and online, learned about the IFR and what they needed to submit to the certifying agencies to remain compliant with the DB program. That concludes our report. We're happy to answer any questions.
Any questions?
Director Ja?
No questions, but my heart almost sank when I saw that. So that's like, I don't know what the word is, but that's incredible. Like what we were able to do. And the fact that you took the opportunity to do other things. Well, I mean, I don't know how you guys pulled it off.
It was a couple months of planning.
I'm sure it was.
Like I said, the equipment, the material was bought a year in advance. It took a year to get the castings in place. We knew it was coming. We did not want to be in a position where we had a critical failure and didn't have options, right?
Yeah, I think that kudos for flawless execution is what I would say, right? And you can do all the planning and then planning for planning, but I don't think I've seen something like this since I've been on the board.
Which is a good thing.
So
We're not having to do this all the time. So.
Right, which is a good thing. I'm also surprised, like, is this the crew? I mean, I bet there's a lot more. It'll be, I think you guys like deserve some sort of recognition or award for this. I mean, this is
So I mean,
this is incredible.
It's a variation of groups. This is mostly track department personnel that were out there with physically dealing with the casting. You saw a lot of photos, iron workers for the. I did some thank you letters and I hand signed them and they were, I don't know, that thick. So I think,
Yeah.
you know,
I mean, almost
150 people,
right?
between managers and coordinators and engineers, all the way down to the frontline drivers and other folks that support. I mean, trucks coming in and out, cranes and all those things, and painters and other, I mean, because again, we threw everything we had to save up a couple months of budget to get into it, and you have to dry up the overtime ahead of time to make sure people are hungry for it too. So
Congratulations. That's all. I mean, I think this is huge. I think what you've done is huge. Thank you.
they've done, I'm exceptionally proud. Yeah. What they've done is amazing, and
It's truly amazing. Thank you.
Thank you to both for all the great work and everyone on the teams.
I mean, it's like when I go to the rodeo and I see you guys in action, I'm amazed because the public doesn't really see what happens behind the scenes in terms of track preparation and all those things, just dealing with infrastructure overall. They just want to get from point A to B and get there safely. And so, but there's so much that goes on behind the scenes. And, you know, as I was listening to the news, I was like, hope they don't screw it up. Pull it off. So congratulations. Great job.
Director Raquel.
Congrats to the team. I'm sure there was a lot of lessons learned that we didn't have time to go over here, and I hope you have compiled them and share them with other transit agencies and other folks doing similar work around the U.S. and the world.
And
sir,
Director Eady.
Yes, I want to join with the others in commending the staff, the group that does these phenomenal things to make everything work for CTA, and certainly servicing the riders and all. And what one part of what you stated really stood out in what I heard is what others are not willing to do or are even told that it's not to be done. That's exactly what you guys do. And I want to thank you for doing those things that no one else may be willing to do. And we do commend you for it. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Wow. Thank you very much. Okay. Our next order of business is new business. Georgette, is there any new business today?
Mr. Chairman, there is no new business.
Since there's no further business to come before the board, may I have a motion to adjourn the Chicago Transit Board meeting of December 10th, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved by Director Nima Jah, seconded by Director Rosa Ortiz, that the December 10th, 2025 meeting of the Chicago Transit Authority Board be adjourned. We will take a roll call vote. Director Jah.
Yes.
Director Ortiz.
Yes.
Director Jakes.
Yes.
Director Eady.
Yes.
Director Raquel.
Yes.
And Chairman Barclay.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Merry Christmas, happy holiday.
Happy holidays to everybody.
Everyone.
Yeah.